Hi, everybody. This is Megan, and welcome back to the Creative Writing Podcast. This is a very quick midweek episode because I know that a lot of people listen on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. So if I put out an email, then it doesn't get to the entire community. I'm going to do two workshops in the next couple of weeks, and I warmly invite you to attend. The first workshop is on July the 7th, and that is going to be all about doors and entrances and exits. It's an hour-long workshop. It kind of runs the same way the podcast works, except that we're all in the same space at the same time, which is very lovely. It's going to run at 1 p.m. UK time and I'm pretty sure 7 p.m. UK time. It's free, and you are welcome to go to Eventbrite and grab yourself a ticket. And I will put the link to Eventbrite in the show notes for this podcast. But also, if you go to Eventbrite and search for Creative Writing Workshop Doors, then it should come up for you. And then the week after that, on July the 14th, I'm going to run a workshop which is slightly different in nature. It is called From Idea to First Draft. It's going to be limited to 12 participants, but I'm going to run it twice that day. So there are two chances for you to jump on. It's going to run for about 2 hours, and it is a workshop all about taking an idea you have for a longer piece of writing, a novel, from like embryonic stages and fleshing it out and giving you a load of tools that you can launch into your first draft. I know that lots of writers use their summer holiday to kind of disappear off to a cabin alone and um, be with their craft for a week. So I thought you might have done that already this year, but for us people who get around to things late, it would be a good chance to just like have a couple of hours that are guided, that sort of help you through some of the first stages about um, uh, creating some structure around that idea and getting to grips with your characters and things. With the current state of the world and AI and thievery and piracy and everything, we do have to be super careful who we share our ideas with and at what stage we share them. So I'm going to design the workshop so that both me and the other participants don't need to know the secret source of your idea, and what makes it super special. So if you want to do that in that group, but you're worried about that aspect of it, then do come along. All I'll be asking for you to share with that is something generic, like, it's about a police investigation, it's about a kid that goes on an adventure, just to get sort of sense of where I'm pitching it. But I think at the moment, while I'm here, I may as well advise everybody, you should be kind of careful about those circles of trust that you're sharing your ideas in. Uh, and that's the advantage of joining a writers' workshop group as well. I don't run those. I think they're a really powerful moment on a writer's journey where you have a group of peers and you can talk about your ideas freely because you're in a room and you're developing trust and you know those people. And also, the vast majority of writers don't actually um like get involved in other people's ideas because we're all involved with our own ideas, and that's what we're in it for. But anyway, um so that will be on July the 14th. And again, I'll put the link in the show notes. But if you want to go and search on Eventbrite, it'll be July the 14th, from Creative Writing Workshop From Idea to First Draft. Now I've interrupted your day. I think there's also a chance for us to do a very, very quick writing exercise because, as we know, I'm all about grabbing some time to get words on the page. And because that's what you usually do. Maybe you've already grabbed your pen because you saw that there was a little episode out. Let's give you some stuff to work on. In last week's episode, which was all about meeting a new idea, we ended up with this metaphor of a light literally going on to allow our characters to engage with the idea that things were not as they had perceived them to be. A bit of a clunky metaphor, but I'm hoping that it would have enabled you to just experiment with that entire concept of how to get that moment on the page, how to capture the moment when your character feels and thinks differently than they did before. So today, I'm just going to give you a quick writing prompt and then I'm going to jump off and go about my day. Let's think about a cause and effect. A cause with the wrong effect can create a mystery in your piece of writing. Because if we do something and we expect a cause and effect to happen and then it doesn't happen, it confounds our expectations and it can confound the expectations of the character and us as the readers. So I'm going to invite you to experiment with something like a door that doesn't open when pushed, a tap that doesn't turn on, an electric switch that does nothing, or a button that does nothing, or maybe a paint color, a piece of artwork that comes out wrong. So if we see a block of watercolor paint and it's bright pink, we don't expect it to be blue. Or a road that appears to lead in one direction, but confounds that expectation very quickly. So a quick kind of midweek writing prompt, a cause with the wrong effect, and then you can have a play around in that mystery. And you can begin from the moment that your character experiences that. We can jump straight into that story. Their hand can be on the door. They can be in the process of trying to force the tap on. They're flicking the electric switch back and forth, irritated that it does nothing. There's always one of those in a hotel room, isn't there? They've added some paint to their picture and they've suddenly realised that the world looks very different. The paint looks very different than they were expecting. So that's just a couple of workshops and a quick writing prompt for today. And a normal episode will be out on Saturday morning, and that will be all about questions and practicing dialogue and how questions form a part of our writing. And until then, I hope you are all very well, and I will see you again either through the podcast or at a workshop. I'll see you again soon.